Extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile must win the award for one of the hardest to remember movie titles of recent memory, because I can never get those words in the correct order for some reason or another. Is it just me that has trouble with that? I managed to get out there at the start and instantly I forgot in which pattern they kind of go in. Doesn't matter anyway. The movie stars Zac Efron as Ted Bundy. This one garnered a lot of hate when the trailer was revealed, because people weren't expecting that kind of movie. They thought it was going to glamorise Bundy. This is a notorious serial killer, one that is very much still in the public eye, still somebody that's talked about, and for good reasons. And it's a tale that most people generally know about. There is umpteen documentaries about it. There has been recently a Netflix 4-part series all about Ted Bundy, and we kind of know a lot about this character. But what I liked most about this movie was the way it attacked its subject. It doesn't focus on really the victims or the crimes, something that's quite apparent and easy to find information about if that is what you're into. This focuses solely on the character of Bundy and the way he had this chameleon-like presence about him, the way he could work a room or work somebody, twist them around his fingers, make them think and do what he wanted. He was a charismatic person. He was intelligent. He was able to judge people and make them kind of work for him and do the things that he wanted. And I think it's an interesting idea to show the movie from this angle, showing how he affected people, how he twisted their lives, how he completely screwed up some other people's lives. I think it's important, and it's a nice change of pace. You've seen bloody, violent serial killer movies before. We've seen the killers behind the $1 Million Smile before. This one was a little bit different, and there are laughs and surreal moments within the movie itself, but only because the story lends itself that way. You know, I've recently just watched the Netflix series, so it was still fresh in my mind, and there are some things that the movie's changed about, but it's more just a shorthand into the idea of this character who was, you know, outwardly a very popular, talkative, intelligent, smart, charismatic, charming person who deep inside harboured some really horrendous and vicious tendencies, but was still able to keep this duality going, you know, just consistently lie, consistently smile, consistently be charming about it. And I think casting Zac Efron works terrifically well. This is someone who has been rather charming throughout his career. You know, he's from the High School Musical type of era. He's been that kind of sex symbol. And to put him into the role, it's a different choice, but when it adds to it, it gives it that kind of Hollywoodized, good-looking hero that doesn't really fit into a character type of mould that you get in some movies, but here it is ideally suited to this character who was all a front, who was like an actor giving a performance most of the time, hiding his true self, and how he affects other people within his life is some of the more interesting aspects. I think the movie was really good, better than I was expecting for it. Had some surreal moments, like I said, some of the escapes, some of the way that he had a long game in mind if he was looking to escape, how he would make sure it was planned mostly, and then just spur of the moment just, you know, take a sidetrack on his plans, as if he thought through the most part, but kind of didn't figure out the final 10%, and it always kind of went awry. I think it was a really interesting tale and somewhat unbelievable. You know, some of the antics that happen in this truly are, really? Did that really happen? But thankfully they did. It made a more exciting tale. I think more of the courtroom scenes where he starts to become more in charge of his own defence, which is just ludicrous, and to see some of the tactics that he does is just interesting. I found this to be a rather interesting way to look at a serial killer movie, to look at more of the character and his influence to other people, rather than the horrendous acts that he did, which we know he did and which we know he paid a price for doing. But just to see some of the police work, how some of the way they kind of caught him, how his name came into the police hands. It's all fascinating stuff. And yet I feel it's just going to get written off as one of these movies that glamorises something when it clearly doesn't. Clearly shows you a horrible person being extremely manipulative and not getting away with it. But I'll leave it up to you. Let me know your thoughts on this movie, because I am not saying that title again. Can't remember. Shocking, extremely wicked, evil, vile thing. Just move them about, whatever order they're supposed to be in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.